Connie Willis, the podcast. Taking you into new ways of thinking, even providing answers to questions you've often pondered. Connie Willis, the podcast. This is a Connie Willis exclusive. Whistleblower. What you're about to hear has never been heard anywhere else. This is Connie Willis, the podcast.
Connie Willis back with the private military, government contractor, and U.S. Navy Special Warfare veteran. Robert Treat is with us discussing his life, his background, and what he sees for the future and what he has learned along the way that he's going to tell us about. Whistleblower, informant, these are the names that a lot of people will tag on to him. It's Robert Treat, as well as deathbed confession. However, he's got a chance to make it through. Go to the GoFundMe that is in the description. Take a look, see where you can help.
Informant.
Well, what are these people? They'll eventually die out, and their grandkids, are they just totally conditioned to just continue to follow the family traditions? Or, the kids over there in England, they're like, hey, we want to get out of the royal family. This is not what we think. Is the same thing going to happen?
Well, yeah, it's generational,
Yeah.
and not all of their children are going to go with the program, and they're going to be shunned or outcast or have plane crashes or be institutionalized or turn into alcoholics, and where they have no credibility.
So this too shall pass.
And then there's always a new batch of inductees who are more than happy to sell their souls away for a slice of the pie, life at the top.
So how do you see all this ending?
Well, on the current trajectory and the development of the projects that I've seen that are coming to fruition at an ever more rapid rate, it's going to break soon, but I don't feel it's going to break in the favor of this, cabal of control freaks. I don't think the fallen agenda is ever going to come to pass. I think they've grossly either underestimated or overestimated humanity. Probably both in just different respects. I think they've overestimated humanity's willingness to accept an unlimited amount of crap, for one. I think there is an upper limit even among the demographic that they count as locked in. They're trying.
ET gonna make themselves present?
Oh yeah, there's going to be, yes. And I think that's part of the the staged alien invasion is because there's going to be an element of reality, because in everything they do that's a hoax, there's always a real consequence, right? There's always a real event, but it's spun and magnified to where we accept this, this pretext as the entirety or the totality of it. So I think the fallen grays are going to be a part of this. This invasion hoax. It's going to be made to look like it's coming from another world, but it's really coming from inside our own. And I think they're going to be a part of that.
When you say that the bad ones they want us out, and the good ones, you said they'll take us out but keep the good, right? They're going to split us, right?
Yes.
Where do the ones that they pull in to survive, where do they go? Will it still be here on Earth, or will we be taken somewhere else?
It's my understanding that following the Great Brouhaha version 2, the Great War Mark II, it's going to leave the planet damaged for a considerable period of time.
Ah, okay.
And they're going to take us somewhere for around 1,000 years, and then we'll come back and re-inhabit this planet.
Interesting.
I don't believe that we're going to be taken to their world. I think there's another place prepared.
Mars, other side of moon,
No, not even in the solar system.
not in here. Oh, okay.
No,
Oh,
I think there's another. I think there's another world. It could be a ship, but I think it's another planet that's being prepared for um, that generation that survives to go for a millennia and then be returned back to this planet when it's healed. The decimation done from the previous war that pretty much destroyed Mars, its ability to be habitable. And if you look at the big scar on Mars, right, it looks like a giant electrical burn. That same war, the weapons that were used, their ships aren't armed, but that doesn't mean they're not capable of producing weapons. They just don't pack them around everywhere they go. They have them, and they're powerful. They'll turn cities into glass. I think that's one of the reasons why, the Primarch sends scout ships here, and I think those are the ones you see. They're scanning our military bases, our nuclear silos, our technology.
mm-hmm.
They're checking on our progress, see how much of a threat we're becoming. And from what I understand, there's been cases where they've disabled our nuclear weapons.
Oh, yeah.
During periods when there was tensions,
Yeah.
risk of use, right, that the public was never aware of. I don't think the public has any idea how many times we've come close to nuclear war, like right on the edge. Especially when communication was hard to achieve with Russia. Every little thing was about to set off
Well,
a
who
war.
keeps stopping that then?
Usually we seem to pull it out of the fire at the last minute.
Is it the elite because they wanted to do it? They want to do it their way, or if the button's pushed, they'll be taken down too, or?
Well, that's the thing about these elites and this cabal is, and why I say they're not as powerful as they've made us believe they are. Right? They don't have full control of any government, right? Because we've got congressmen, we've got senators, we've got generals, we've got joint chiefs, we've got the Federal Reserve, then we've got the president and the vice president. You really think all these people are going to be on the same page? They can't control everything. They can make us think they control everything. They can make an example of somebody in the court, right, and make us all think that that's going to be the way it is for everyone. You can't beat them. When they're very beatable. It's just, we're so dependent on our beer and our football and our entertainment and our Netflix that, they count on the fact that we will never come together and put a stop to it.
The human experience. Let's just have some fun
and if we're too weak-willed to save ourselves, why should the Primarchs come and save us?
This is a Connie Willis exclusive on Connie Willis, the podcast.
So you get into this group. How do you get out, and how are they not concerned about? How do you get out in the first place, and how are they not concerned about you talking about this stuff? And if you and you are talking about it, do you think there's any ramifications for this?
Oh, I imagine they're going to make me pay somehow for this.
Are they going to make me pay for this?
No.
How do you know?
They seriously doubt you're not worth it, and
I'm not worth it. Yeah, I am worth it.
Not in their terms. Not in their terms.
I get you.
And they probably won't do anything, to me because really, how many people are going to take me seriously?
Well, how did you get out?
I got out by that night we were supposed to leave for Rome, for the ceremony with the Pope.
You didn't even have the ceremony?
No.
You didn't even go through it?
I did not.
Oh.
They were giving me last-minute instructions on protocol when I met the Pope, which was going to be the following morning.
Okay.
And they said, you're going to meet the Pope, and he's going to hold out his hand, you're going to kiss his ring. I'm like, hold up right there. That is not going to happen. And like, well, you have to kiss the Pope. You said I had to meet the Pope and he would bless me. You didn't say anything about kissing his ring. And he's like, well, that's part of it. You have to kiss his ring. I'm like, I'm not kissing the Pope's ring or his ass or anything else. That's not going to happen. If you think I'm going to get on my knees before a grown-ass man and kiss his ring, you got another thing coming. I am not doing that.
But wouldn't you do that to be on the inside, to do what they do, to
Not
learn?
worth it. I'm not kissing another human's hand. I'm not kissing your ring. No. And and maybe that was a lesson, you know. Um,
Because as like, you were like doing like spy work at that point. Wouldn't you do a simple kiss on the ring?
there's things I'm willing to do, and there's things that I'm not willing to do.
You know where that ring's been?
And
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to kneel and worship another man or any human.
But you would just be doing an act. You know that that's not where your heart would be.
I'll bow to a Japanese person out of respect because they bow back. But if you think you're a reigning monarch and I'm going to get on my knees and, oh, I'm not worthy, well,
But
up
wouldn't you have
yours.
learned a whole lot more though?
I probably would have.
Yeah. And
Um,
wasn't that the deal that, you go, okay, I got to kiss it, but it doesn't mean anything. You can just even, you already know it doesn't mean anything.
no,
But either way,
did
that's
to
what you
it.
decided to do.
Yeah, it did to me. It did to
Yeah,
me,
right.
and
I
and
got
maybe
you.
and I think that's part of what the Primarchs are looking for is you will not bend your knee to anybody but them.
Well, and then, it keeps referring back to the Bible, doesn't it? Because there shall not be no other gods before me, right? And that would be kind of
And yeah, and
showing to worship him, right? Is that what
yeah,
that would mean?
yeah, and for me, that's the way it is. As
Okay.
I don't know if the Primarch is God or not. I don't worship him like a god. Um,
The Pope.
no, the Primarch,
Oh,
the
okay.
the gray that I'd spent time with. Um, I just knew from the first moment I saw him, I loved him. I was terrified. Um, but I knew right then there's nothing I wouldn't do.
You felt nothing but love. That's very similar to Lynn Buchanan when one of the remote viewers from Project Stargate was he was given a target. If you read his book, The Sixth Sense, it's even in there. If you go back to some of the shows on Blue Rock Talk, you'll see where Lynn talks about it too in the Blue Rock Vault. He talks about the target that he got was, you get a target and you view it, and he had all these targets of all these bad guys and, trying to find out answers of things. And he had said at one point, I hope y'all, my gosh, I just keep getting all these negative things. And at one point down the road, they had given him the target Jesus. And he, before you know what the target is, you go to it. You don't know what it is until later. Do you get the feedback? And he was just saying it was just love, just felt so much love. It was just unbelievable. He couldn't put it into words. You're kind of saying the same thing. It's very interesting.
Oh yeah, I looked at him the same way my dogs look at me.
Unconditionally.
Oh yes, yeah. So there's never been a confusion since I met him when I was, 9, 10.
Interesting.
There's never been a question in my mind or in my heart, which master I serve.
So, what about all the Catholics that kiss the ring all the time?
They're bowing down to the wrong thing.
But that's where they feel is
and
their
I
connection to God, right?
and yes, and I know who am I to say that, right?
But
And
that's how you felt.
that's how I felt. Yes.
And in doing that, you never got to the next whatever would have happened after that.
Yeah. That was kind of
The
the end.
initiation.
That was the end for me.
Okay.
And yeah, I did pay a price for rejecting them.
What was that price?
No door ever opened for me ever again.
Informant. What you just heard has never been heard anywhere else. This is Connie Willis, the Podcast Informant. Learn more about Connie, her guests, and be sure to join her private membership shows, Blue Rock Talk and Connie After Dark, at ConnieWillis.com. Whistleblower.